Is being recorded.
Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman, they like to roll the dice. By chance they came upon a devil's game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price. And now they're fighting for their lives on a mission fraught with dread. And if they proceed but don't succeed, well, the devil will take their heads.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Pablo. Yes, Pablo Picasso. You have probably heard of me. So let me take you on a journey through my life. I was born in Malaga, Spain on October 25 of 1881. For a time I lived with my grandmother Inés and two aunts because my father's professional situation was not very stable. So when he was appointed professor of drawing in La Coruña, he accepted the position and my family moved in 1891 and there I grew up. My mother had a stronger personality than my father's, but I always had greater respect and tenderness. My dad and mom had three children, me and two daughters more. From my childhood, I was very creative and had already painted some oils at an early age, being at that moment when I discovered the love for art and that I wanted to be a painter. But I felt very alone without friends and strange for living in an unknown city. I studied at the Pablo Picasso School of Art and Superior Design, a name put in my honor, and at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts of San Fernando, so I studied arts. After some years, I get married with Fernanda Oliver, Eva Gull, Marie-Therese Walter, Dora Maar, and Francois Gillet, and we had four children. I made my living with my paintings because I paint more than 20,000 oils and throughout my life I live in Malaga, La Coruña, Paris, Madrid, and Muggins. I stood out from the rest for having created new styles such as Expressionism and Modernism, but I was not only a painter. I also was a sculptor and one of the creators of the Cubist movement, as well as being a member of the French Communist Party until my death. In general, I was a pacifist atheist and a communist person.
I painted a lot of works through my life because that was my job, and I adore making living from it. Art gave the world all my vision of reality. So join me on a tour of my masterpieces. First, we have The Life, that is in the Museum of Fine Arts in Cleveland since '93. This was inspired by life, death, time, and the coldness of it. 2 years later, I painted The Dutch Beauty. Now, it is in Queensland Art Gallery in Brisbane. This was inspired by my first table partner, Fernanda Olivier. I was in love with her when I painted this work. 2 years passed, and I showed to the light The Young Ladies of Avignon, that you will find it in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. This was inspired by African culture and the new style of painting in that time. Years passed, and in 1921 I finished The Three Musicians. You will see it in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. It was inspired by the same local musicians of that beautiful city. 9 years pass, and I conclude with Seated Valor, that you will see it in New York in the same museum as the previous ones. New Yorkers are fans of my art. I was inspired by the female silhouettes that captivated me at that time. Woman in Front of the Mirror was my next work in 1932. Surprise! It is also in New York, based on one of my lovers, that beautiful model, Marie Therese Walter. This tried to demonstrate the psychology with colors. Portrait of Dora Maar, from 1937 to right now, at the National Central Museum of Art Reina Sofía in Madrid, inspired by the muse that appears in the work. El Guernica, of the same year as the previous ones, and in the same museum. This is a living expression of Spain in 1937. This one shows my concerns and feelings about the situation. Crying Woman, at the Tate Gallery in London, where I was inspired by Dora Maar and show the pain of the Spanish woman during the Civil War. And finally, in 1957, I ended with Las Meninas, that is in the museum named in my honor in Barcelona. I seek to honor the art of Velázquez with a palette and a brush. Oh, how many memories my beloved masterpieces bring to me.
I began to be recognized from 1955 to 1973, since that was the year of my death. I was known to the people as the best painter of the 20th century for all the styles. I was able to create these new styles as they are: Expressionism, Cubism, and Modernism made history in art in general. Today, I am remembered as an art genius and as one of the best painters of all time, since I produced more than 20,000 works in. Also, I was able to transform classical art into something more modern.
My first word was peace. Although it is not understood, I was referring to a pencil. My first painting was when I was 9 years old, and I also painted the most expensive paintings in the world. Although they also accused me of stealing the Mona Lisa, and to end this journey, I have to say that I died on April 8, 1973 in Mongols, France, thanks to a pulmonary edema and heart failure. But you know nobody really dies if he or she is remembered. I left my mark on the world, so what are you waiting to leave yours?